Hey, happy afternoon. Although this comes out in the morning, so everybody's going to see this in the morning, but it is Friday afternoon. I am actually sitting outside. I know I actually, I hate to tell you this. I did this on purpose because I know what the weather's like up north. I just got off the phone with my mom, and yeah, it's 78, maybe 80 degrees right now. We're going to get worse. Trust me. What's coming for you guys up north is coming for us too. We won't be below zero, but we're definitely going to be in the 30s at night. Highs only in the 40s. So for Florida, that's pretty doggone cold. But anyway, we are here to talk about mortgages, not about the weather. So welcome to another episode of Midnight Mortgage Madness. Since this comes out at midnight, what the heck? Let's go with that name. Now, I have been talking about different mortgage programs, but I had some people talking about, hey, why don't you tell us, about rates? Should we wait to buy a house? That type of stuff. So I'm like, okay, let's jump into that because honestly, it's a hot subject right now. So rates. I'll tell you this: if I had a crystal ball, I wouldn't be sitting here. Well, I got bamboo behind me, but I would have a lot different type of tree behind me if I had a crystal ball. I'd be on a beach with a bunch of palm trees somewhere in the Caribbean right now, if I could tell you exactly. But I will say from my experience, all my, dumb degrees, I say, my MBA, my economics, bachelor, all that stuff, mortgage rates are going to go down because they follow inflation, and inflation is on its way down. And we've already seen that. I did a flyer today for a conventional 30-year fixed. It did have 10% down, and I assumed a 720 score, but we were at 6.6. So that was on a 30-year fixed. There was like a $1,600 origination in there just because of the way the pricing fell. But basically not big money. So that's where we're at. FHA are in the fives. So rates aren't as bad as people think. They're actually getting better. And I personally, now there are a lot of places out there, I'm not going to name names, but if you go to a retail bank, you go to a lender that, has a lot of offices, so if you go to someone and they're like, oh, we have an office in, Orlando, we have an office in Miami, we have one, we'll throw some Dallas, Chicago, whatever. Their rates are going to be a lot higher because they have overhead. I don't have a lot of overhead. It's just me. I've got my small little office. It costs me $500 a month. So I keep my margins really low, so my rates stay low. So I never was that high, but that's where they're at now. So I think rates are good. Are they going to go lower? Yes. When? I don't know. I think it's going to be a slow trend. I don't think we'll have like a abrupt, like all of a sudden a drop like we did it when they went up. They went up very fast, which is normal. Think about gas prices, right? Gas prices rise a lot quicker than they fall. So the same thing with mortgage rates. But we will get probably FHA, VA are going to go into the fours. Conventional should get into the, let's say, mid to upper fives is kind of where I'm thinking. We're not going to see the twos and threes. And I hate to tell you, it's just not going to happen. I know people think it will, but that was the worst thing that could ever happen for the economy was 2 to 3%. And that's going to lead me into the purchase thing actually as well. Because think about it. If you have a 2 or 3% and you're the person with it in your house, yeah, it's great for your mortgage payment, but can you really afford to ever sell your house? Because think about it. When you got that mortgage back in 2000, 2001, whenever you got it, right, home values were a lot less. Now homes have really skyrocketed, and they're not going to come down. I hate to tell you that. That's the one thing inflation does, right? Inflation sets the new set point, right? It sets the new norm. So everything we're at now is pretty much where we're going to be, right? Milk, butter, they're expensive, right? I just went to the store the other day. I had to get some butter, and I couldn't believe the butter's like $7-8 the box, for four sticks. But that's the price, and that's the same thing with housing. If we had an overabundance of supply, I'd say, hey, yeah, maybe we'll see a decrease, but we don't. And the reason we don't have an overabundance or even a normal amount of supply, we're way below normal supply, it's because of the people with the 2 or 3% interest rates. They can't afford to move. They may want to say, okay, hey, I like the starter home I got, and now I want to move up. Well, the problem is their starter home they got maybe $200,000-300,000. That same house is now worth $300,000 or $400,000, maybe $500,000. So not only are you going up in purchase price, you're going up in rate. So you got a huge disadvantage. And so those people, honestly, they're probably not going to ever sell those homes unless they have to. Or they may keep them as investment properties, but they're not coming on the market unless something really bad happens to them or they die. Okay? So that's just the way it's going to go. Now, with that being said, when rates do start to fall, which they have, but when the media, right, actually will start telling good news instead of bad news, and people realize how low rates are, okay, now you people do, everyone listening to this, rates are good. But when they start nationally advertising how good rates are, people are going to jump into the housing market. Plus, the best rates are going to hit right at normal buying season, right? We're low now. And this isn't when, like in Florida, yes, people are buying houses now. But up north, this isn't really the buying or selling because that usually revolves around school year, right? So we're going to start to see the real purchase season start somewhere in May. By then, May, June, July, rates are probably going to be a lot, maybe 0.5% lower. Maybe even a full percent. I don't know about that, but at least a half. That's going to bring more people into the market. And if you have a small amount of inventory, right, and you have a large amount of people buying, basic supply and demand tell you the prices are going to go up. We're going to get back to where we were. I actually think, and I could be wrong, but I think we're going to have more of a feeding frenzy for real estate this summer than we had at the peak in 2001, 2002, or 22, sorry, 21 and 22. I think we're going to have a lot more people out there. That means home prices are going to really go for above list. So if you're waiting for the interest rate to go down, you're making a huge mistake. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Very big mistake because, yeah, all right, your interest rate's going to be lower. But you know what the biggest component of a mortgage payment is? Is the amount you're borrowing. If interest rates go to 2-3%, but you're still borrowing $100,000 or $200,000 more, guess what? Your payment's still going to be higher than it would be now if you bought that house at $500,000 and you're at 6.6, right? If you wait, the house is now going to be $600,000, right? Or $550 if you're lucky, probably closer to 6. And your interest rate, might be in the 4s, but guess what? You're borrowing an extra $50,000 to $100,000. That's the big money right there, is the amount you have to pay back. So waiting isn't exactly the best way to go. I think if you're going to be in the market, if you're able to, right now is the chance to go. The issue is, yes, there is not a lot of inventory out there to look for. So that's the hard part. But I'd say if you're searching, start looking now because you'll find that house. And even at that, you're still going to probably end up into, a bidding war. I will give you one tidbit of somewhere I would look. If I was a new buyer, okay, there is a spot I would go look, and that is with new construction. And I'm going to tell you why. This is why you should look at a new construction place, someone that's been open for a while, okay? And it isn't because they give you closing cost credits and all that. Yes, they do, but their rates are higher anyway, so that's usually not the best way to go anyway. But the reason I tell you to look there is the same thing I'm seeing for some of the clients I had. I pre-approved a lot of people in February, March, and April of last year. Rates were in the 5s. Now, we're coming back around, so it's helping them, but there are a lot of people that were supposed to close in December and November that when rates were in the 7s, they no longer qualified. So they could not buy the house. Their pre-approval was great at the time, but once the rate actually went up, they actually couldn't get approved for their mortgage. So they have a lot of spec homes sitting there, and they're willing to make deals on those. Okay, so that's a good spot to go for you guys. So, but that's it. That's what I wanted to tell you guys about today. I think rates are going to go down, but if you're in the market to buy, right now is the time to go, because if you wait, yes, interest rates will fall. I'm very confident they will fall, but home prices are going to skyrocket. They are going to go so high. I think your payments are going to be really out of whack. So now's the time to go, and we'll talk to you soon. Hey, I would love for you guys also, I know I didn't say this on the other videos, subscribe to this channel. This would be awesome. And then you get notifications when I'm coming out, and I know how many people are watching. So anyway, hey, have a great week, everybody. Good weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Survive the snow.